Minimalism isn't something you can buy in a store, so don't waste your hard-earned money on these so-called minimalist products. Hi there, friend, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa, and this is A to Zen Life, and today I'm sharing 9 minimalist products that I think are a total waste of money if you're someone who thinks minimalism is less about looks and more about lifestyle. Now, a lot of the products that I'm talking about in this video are super popular, and I'm sure that there are people out there who love and use these things. So if that's you, feel free to disagree with me down in the comment section below. But on the other hand, as a minimalist of almost 10 years now, one of my biggest pet peeves is watching someone declutter everything they own and then going out and buying a bunch of stuff to try and fit the minimalist aesthetic. So I'm going to go through each of the items on this list one by one and share why I choose not to buy them and how you can decide whether or not they're worth it for yourself. The first category of minimalist products on this list is the skinimalism trend. And what I think is interesting about this trend is how it kind of goes in the opposite direction of some of the really popular multi-step skincare routines that were trending just a few years back. Like, for example, the 5,000 or however many steps it was Korean skincare routine that I saw everyone was doing not that long ago. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have skinimalism, which is a trend that advocates for a simplified, minimalist skincare routine by using fewer high quality and often multitasking products. And that does actually check a lot of the boxes that I frequently discuss when it comes to the rules and principles of minimalism. So skinimalism sounds great in theory until you realize the beauty industry is just using this buzzword as another excuse to sell you more stuff that's simply labeled as minimalist. Most of us don't need a special skinimalist serum or $80 moisturizer to simplify our routines, because most of us will get the same results, if not better, simply by removing steps or ineffective products from the things that they already own. I use 2 products daily, and those include this face wash that I've been using after a referral from my sister-in-law for about 10 years now, and this Cetaphil moisturizer. So I buy a big thing of this face wash, and then I will put it into this one for the shower or when I go to the gym to take along with me. And then when it comes to the Cetaphil, the reason that we like this is because a lot of the members of our family have different skin types. My husband has dry skin, my kids have eczema, and my skin is fairly on the oily side. But this product works for all our skin types, which allows us to keep our routine simple and own less. And then the one other skincare product that I use around once a week is an exfoliator, and I just stick with the St. Ives brand that I've been using since high school. And often what we need to have healthy, glowing skin isn't about the products that we put on our skin at all. It's about things like getting enough hydration, eating well, and getting enough sleep and exercise, and being consistent with using the products that we already have. Number 2, minimalist wardrobes. Again, when it comes to minimalist wardrobes, you have to ask yourself, are you going for a look or are you going for a lifestyle? If a minimalist lifestyle is your goal, then it's not about owning 5 identical pairs of black shirts and 1 pair of pants. Despite what brands and influencers are trying to convince us what minimalism looks like on social media, being a minimalist doesn't mean dressing in only black, white, or beige. And you can absolutely wear color, bold patterns, or statement pieces. Because in the end, minimalism is about intention, not restriction. In fact, I would argue that most people probably have a minimalist wardrobe hiding in their closet, just waiting to be decluttered and rediscovered underneath all of the excess. When you remove the things that you don't wear, what's left are the pieces that you actually love, feel good in, and reach for again and again. That's your minimalist wardrobe, and there's no budget or shopping spree required. Also, while I know the idea of capsule wardrobes are very popular in the minimalism community, there's no magic number of items that will bibbidi-bobbidi-boo suddenly turn you into a magical minimalist Cinderella. It's about curating your clothes so that they fit you. your lifestyle, your body, and your own sense of personal taste and style, whatever that might look like. I've done quite a few videos on this topic, and I will be sure to link one of them up here for you, as well as a few down in the description box below, in case you're interested in figuring out how to declutter the clothes that you already own and create a minimalist wardrobe out of those. Number 3, minimalist watches. One of the things that you'll hear me preaching on my channel again and again is that minimalism isn't about owning nothing, it's about owning with purpose and intention. And that rule applies even to something as small as a watch. There's a lot of watches out there that market themselves as the go-to minimalist watch, and I don't want to call out any brands in particular, but I've definitely had some of these brands in my email inbox, and I've even seen other minimalists on YouTube who own and love these watches. But I haven't owned a watch for many, many years now, ever since the Fitbit that I had broke and I chose not to replace it. And I don't see that changing anytime in the future until my husband eventually decides that he wants to swap out his old Apple Watch, because I think at this point his is now between 5 to 7 years old. So when he does that, he'll probably give me his old one, which, thank you for husband hand-me-downs, am I right? But for me, the features that I'm looking for in a watch are more about being able to monitor how many steps I'm taking and what my VO2 max is versus being able to tell time. So again, when it comes to selecting a minimalist watch, it all goes back to your values. If you're a digital minimalist, you might prefer a simple analog watch or skip the watch altogether. If you're a luxury minimalist, maybe you prefer investing in a single statement piece like a Rolex. Speaking of which, did you know that the Dalai Lama actually loves watches? That's right, the spiritual icon that many people might think is the ultimate minimalist due to his simple lifestyle as a monk rooted in Buddhist philosophy, has been a serious collector of luxury watches for decades now, and among his watch collection he owns something called a Patek. That Patek watch was given to the Dalai Lama by Franklin D. Roosevelt way back in 1943 and is one of only 15 ever made. And they say that similar watches have fetched up to $500,000 plus in auctions. Again, the most minimalist watch isn't the one with no numbers on the dial or the one that comes in the matte gray packaging. It's the one that fits your body, your lifestyle, and your needs and goals. And buying anything else is just a waste of money. Number 4, minimalist wallets. This is another one of those products that I always see on these lists of best minimalist products of all time, or best things that I've ever bought as a minimalist. And it's also another one of those products that has brands frequently showing up in my email inbox trying to sponsor me. But what's funny about this is that my husband actually bought one of these so-called minimalist wallets in the past and then ended up returning it. And I'll let him tell you about it himself.
Okay, Mr. Zen. So, can you remind me why you did not like the minimalist wallet that you bought?
Yeah, I think the idea was great, but when I actually used it, it wasn't that practical. And when I pull a credit card, I tend to pull everything out, and then I have to shuffle, the rest back, and it just wasn't that convenient.
And what did you get instead?
I got something smaller, and I got it from Banana Republic.
How long ago was that you got it?
I would say maybe almost 10 years. It's still in great shape.
10 years? I didn't realize it'd been that long. Thank you.
If you look at my wallet, you would probably think that that's not a minimalist wallet at all, because my wallet is actually quite large, but it suits my style and my needs exactly. Not only do I love the color of this wallet, but also it is able to fit everything that I need inside of it so that I don't need to own multiple wallets or have to go running around my house looking for things and pulling things out and putting other things inside. So for example, because I'm a mom and I have kids, we all have insurance cards and I am the keeper of the insurance cards. And we have 4 insurance cards for the family for our health insurance. We also have an eye insurance card. We also have a dental insurance card. So right there, that's 6 cards alone, not counting my driver's license. I have a credit card, I have a debit card, I have a business credit card. And so that just means that I need a wallet that can comfortably store and hold and allow me to access all of those things exactly when I need it, where I need it. Now, if you are on a decluttering or minimalism journey, I would encourage you to go through your wallet and see if there's anything like expired coupons or membership cards that you don't use or no longer need, or things like that inside of your wallet that you could declutter and downsize to create more space. And then if you do that and you realize you don't need such a big wallet, that's totally fine. But if you still do need a big wallet, that doesn't make you any less of a minimalist. Number 5 on this list are minimalist EDC products. So EDC, or everyday carries, are things like bags and purses and the products that you might put inside of them and want to carry with you on a daily basis. But over time, I think something that started out as a fun way to share the kinds of items and products that you carry about with you on a day-to-day basis and that you would consider essential has gradually kind of pivoted towards being another kind of marketing buzzword. Actually, when I was researching this video, I found a Reddit thread about this topic, and the title was EDC is a marketing term you don't need 90% of the EDC items that tech YouTubers promote. Now, I'm someone who used to be a total hoarder, and before I decluttered my entire home and life, my purse was always a huge mess, and I could rarely find what I needed inside of it because there was so much in there. So for me, the most important aspect of creating a everyday carry was to declutter the things that I already had and get rid of those things that I didn't need and I didn't use. And then instead of going out and buying a new purse, I just got rid of the ones that I didn't use and I kept only 2. The first is this green Marc Jacobs crossbody purse that my husband gave me around 15 years ago, actually before we were even married. And this is the one I probably use the most. But then the second one I like to use whenever I need to take my laptop because it can actually fit inside of here. And it's a canvas purse that I got when I was 18 years old from the mall that I was working at. I don't know if you can see here, but it's actually getting really worn out in places and kind of getting holes in it. But actually, I think that kind of really just adds to its charm and uniqueness. So before you go out and buy another bag that's marketed as minimalist, just empty the one you've already got and see what's left after you remove the excess. That's your real everyday carry. The simple, intentional, and free one that's already at your fingertips. Number 6, minimalist jewelry. This is another one of those products that really grinds my gears because who says that I have to wear these thin, dainty little rings and earrings and necklaces to be a minimalist?
Do you have a question, Kelly?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
What if I want to wear a big, bold statement necklace? Does that make me any less of a minimalist? In my opinion, the most minimalist jewelry collection isn't the one that features dainty gold hoops or that trending capsule necklace stack. It's the pieces that you already own and the ones you actually wear because you love them and they mean something to you. And the rest is just sparkle without substance. When it comes to jewelry, most days I just wear my wedding band as well as my mom's diamond ring that I inherited after she passed away when I was 9. But then I do have other jewelry items, and all of those jewelry items fit inside one jewelry box, which is actually a wood box with a dragon carved on top of it that my grandfather left me. And even though my jewelry collection is really, really minimal in terms of quantity and being able to fit inside that one box, I would say it's very varied in terms of color, in terms of shape, in terms of size and chunkiness. So here's a gentle reminder that minimalist jewelry isn't about what you buy, it's about what you have left when you stop chasing trends and focus on what matters most to you. Number 7, Minimalist home decor. Home decor is another one of those areas where I think minimalism has kind of lost the plot. And because of what goes viral and is popular on social media, everyone has kind of been brainwashed into thinking that to have a minimalist home, you have to own as little furniture as possible. You have to be sleeping Japanese style on a mattress on the floor and not own a bed frame. You can't own a TV. You have to have as few couches and chairs as possible. But then what you have to remember is even within the umbrella of minimalism, there are so many subcategories of minimalism. And all of these minimalists have different values, different styles, and different goals in their life. And so they're going to choose home decor that matches their values, their goals, and their personal sense of taste. So, for example, one thing that I've noticed about eco minimalists or green minimalists, as they're sometimes called, is that they tend to have a ton of plants everywhere. And it took me and my husband forever just to try to find a plant for this back corner. And for us, watering and taking care of a whole bunch of plants would actually be a huge burden. And so we just want a few plants here and there rather than having a bunch of them in our house. Unlike Japanese minimalists and some other extreme minimalists who want to put their mattresses on the floor, we really love having a bed frame that keeps our mattress elevated and just gives our bedroom a better sense of lightness and freeness, and also makes it easier for us to get in and out of bed. And also, one thing that we were thinking about is when we have guests visit, for example, my great aunt and uncle who came and saw us during the summer. They've had hip replacements, knee replacements. My uncle walks with a cane because he has a bad back. And so if we had a bed that was down on the floor, there would have been no way that they would be able to get in and out of the bed, and therefore no way that they would be able to come visit us. So when my husband and I were choosing our furniture and home decor, these were the kinds of things that were going through our heads. Real minimalist home decor isn't about stripping away your personality. It's about clearing more space for it. You don't need to buy a matching set of cream-colored furniture in order to make your home feel zen, because you probably would do better to just remove the random stuff that's stealing your peace instead to create the same feeling. As a rule, the more home decor and furniture you buy, the less minimalist your home will feel. So be aware of that the next time that you feel tempted to buy some home decor or furniture just because it's being marketed to you as minimalist. Next up, I want to talk about tiny houses with you because somewhere along the way, people started confusing square footage with simplicity. Small homes have always existed, but around 2014, the tiny home movement started to pick up steam and ended up going viral, along with some other simple living trends such as van life. And on the surface, this lifestyle might appear like it's the height of minimalism, but just because you live in a smaller home doesn't automatically make you a minimalist. In fact, when I look at the home that we have now, which is one of the bigger square footages that we've ever lived in, we actually own much, much less stuff than we did when we were living in a 900 square foot condo in Chicago. At that time, we didn't just have stuff in our home. I also had stuff that I had inherited from my parents and my grandparents and other friends and family members that was kind of scattered around at other people's places and in storage because it simply didn't fit in my home. Compare that to the home that we have now, and we now own 90% less stuff than we did back then. I will say that this home is slightly larger than we would have preferred because a bigger home means you do have more space to keep clean. I actually think that the home that we had in Germany was the perfect size for us. Even though it was under 2,000 square feet, it was just laid out so well that there wasn't a space wasted, and it was just so well put together. But sometimes when it comes to homes, beggars can't be choosers, and we ended up selecting this home because we loved its character and because it was in the school district that we wanted, in the neighborhood that we wanted. So the moral of the story is that it doesn't matter if your home is 500 square feet or 5,000 square feet, because any home can be a minimalist home with the right dose of decluttering and intentionalism. And finally, number 9 on this list is minimalist kids' toys. Minimalist toys almost sounds like an oxymoron if you think about it, especially if you're a parent who's ever done the Lego fire walk in the middle of the night.
Ah, sweet mother! Keep moving, soldier! Pain is temporary, Lego is forever! I think it's inside my foot!
Coming through! Medic!
Hold still, champ. Tweezers in. Brick out.
And I think that this is one of the biggest lies that gets pushed in the minimalism community, which is that a minimalist toy collection should be neutral and should include things that are only made out of wood and not have any electronics in it or anything like that. And this is something that I definitely bought into in the past, only to realize that my kids didn't enjoy playing with all of those wooden and Montessori style toys, and what they really enjoyed wasn't minimalist or neutral at all. So let me show you some of their favorites. This is a stuffed axolotl that I gave my youngest son last Christmas that he sleeps with every single night. This is a stingray that some of our friends from Chicago gave my oldest son when he was small, and it's so old that it actually got worn out and I had to sew it back together here recently. This thing is probably about 20 years old. My oldest son loves Pokemon cards and he loves simply trading the cards and also playing the game. This is some kind of green plastic toy that came inside a gift bag that my kids love to hit each other with. And we also have quite a few of these plastic monsters that they really enjoy. When it comes to minimalist toys, it's not so much about what the toys look like, it's about creating space for your kids' imagination, creativity, and creating a sense of calm and order. I always say that decluttering 90% of our kids' toys was one of the best things that we could have ever done as parents, because most kids already have way too much stimulation in their life, and they don't really need more toys and more stuff. What they really need is more space and room to play. And there have actually been studies done on this in the past where when you give kids fewer toys, they actually play better and longer and more independently versus if you give them a lot of toys and then they get overstimulated with having too many choices. So the next time you're tempted to fall for that minimalist or Montessori style toy ad that you see on TikTok or Instagram, remember that simplicity isn't something that you can buy for your kids, but it is something that you can create in your home when you make space for the things that matter most. And if you're looking for more tips and ideas on minimalism, decluttering, or de-influencing videos, be sure and go check out one of these that YouTube thinks that you'll like, or I'll see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.